Namaste and hello, Sabay Janalai. Hope you've all been well. We're now officially in monsoon season here in Nepal, and it's been starting to rain more and more. After last year, the monsoon certainly brings a little bit of anxiety, knowing how much destruction the rain can cause. Our lower road is actually already inaccessible due to a landslide that happened just last week. But actually, I think I'm finding that this season is one of the most stunning for me. The air is clean, everything is lush and green, the sounds of the insects, the fireflies. And every day brings something a little different, whether it's a thunderstorm, fog, wind, or just pure sunshine. You never know what you're gonna get. It's wild to think that almost a year ago, Katak and I came back to Nepal with our baby Kiran to live here on our land and in this rammed earth home. It really has become something we dreamed of in many ways. Immersed in nature, quiet and peaceful, growing some of our own food, and it's allowed Kiran to grow up almost entirely outdoors. Every day surrounded by trees, plants, birds, bugs, dirt, and now chickens too. He's just over a year old now, and this is where he learned to sit, to crawl, to climb, to walk. We already made so many really nice memories here with him. But dreams are never quite as simple as they seem from the outside. And now we're actually preparing to leave this farm and Nepal for a little while. So in this video, I'm gonna share why, and also share a few of the things that have actually been challenging for me living out here, that might not always be visible from my past videos. This isn't goodbye to here or to Nepal, not at all, but it could be a big change in the near future. I'm usually quite the optimist and always try to project a pretty positive and happy energy. And I think I've mostly showed the beautiful and fun aspects of life out here. I also want to be honest about the hard parts, because for me, this place isn't always perfect. When we bought this land, we did imagine one day raising kids here out in nature, away from the city. But I think before you are a parent, it's hard to truly anticipate how you're going to feel and how your priorities are going to shift, especially what you need to feel safe and supported. Living in Nepal and in a fairly remote place out here as a new mom has been hard in some ways. We're not just outside of Kathmandu in the city, but we're not really in a village either. In this valley, we only have a few neighbors, and we don't always see them every day, so it can feel very isolated. As a mom, and I think particularly as a new mom, I've often yearned for the support of other mothers and to have more of a community out here. Some of this is on me. I could try harder to build those relationships, but being busy with the baby and learning how to be a mom and sometimes getting kind of stuck here on our land and at home, that hasn't really happened. Maybe also being a foreigner and with my limited Nepali, and just not being in close proximity to other people, it just hasn't happened. There hasn't been a close, larger community here where we are. And because it can feel isolated, I think we've gone back and forth between here and Kathmandu a little more than we anticipated, to see friends and meet with other moms and their babies, to go to playgroup for Kiran. And while sometimes it does feel like the best of both worlds, we get the city, we get this place out in nature, the back and forth is also difficult and exhausting, especially with the road construction. And always having to pick up, pack, and move back and forth is tough too. But when friends come and visit us here, or even when there's more worker guys here on our property, I think it starts to feel more like a community when we have more people around and we're supporting each other and working for each other. I feel how it lifts my spirits, and that makes me realize how much, for me, having people around matters. Being remote and with a pretty rough, unreliable access road means there's not really easy or quick access to medical care. And living far from reliable health care sometimes makes me nervous, especially with a baby. And then we've also started thinking about Kiran's education and where he would go to school once he's a little older. And climate change, of course, has made things more unpredictable as well. After what we experienced last year with monsoon, landslides, flooding, I feel a bit less safe than I did before. We have worked hard this year building retaining walls and making sure that this house and this terrace are safe. But there's really only so much you can control, and sometimes when it starts raining, you feel a little bit unsure of what will happen. Then there's the air pollution in the dry season in Nepal, especially in Kathmandu, which really bothers and saddens me. It's pretty much for 6 months a year, Kathmandu's at unhealthy levels, according to the WHO. It is better out here since we're not around cars and construction, but in the driest part of the year, there's few places in Nepal that don't have bad air. If I have the choice, how can I justify raising my child in one of the most polluted countries in the world? No matter how much I love this place. Clean air is a basic human right, and I really wish there was more that was being done about this awful situation. As I'm saying this, I want to acknowledge that the challenges that I'm sharing here are nothing compared to what many families in Nepal face, especially in terms of access to healthcare and education, dealing with the hardships of daily life on top of the impacts of climate change and natural disasters and man-made disasters. Some of you have made comments like, wow, look at this foreigner living in Nepal when so many Nepalis are going abroad. While I love the idea that I might inspire some of you, and I really don't want to disappoint any of you, I really want to be honest with the fact that I'm nothing special. That for me, coming from the United States and living here in Nepal, it's not always perfect for me. And I think as someone who grew up in urban Southern California, I don't have an ounce of the resilience that the average Nepali person has. My husband Kadak, for instance, who grew up in rural Western Nepal in Jumla, is so much more resilient than I am and is so much more easygoing with any situation that comes at him. He can make any place work. But for me, I think especially because I'm a parent now, I do sometimes find myself missing the resources, the comfort, the conveniences of living in the United States versus Nepal. And of course all my family and friends who live literally on the other side of the world. So with these challenges that I've experienced this last year, I've often found myself questioning where the right place is for us long-term as a family. Is it here on this land? Is it somewhere else in Nepal? I'm not sure it's the United States either. So there's some uncertainty there. One of you also once shared in the comments that when you were in Nepal, you felt jealous of your friends who were abroad in the United States, and then once you got to the United States, you started feeling jealous of your friends that were back home in Nepal. It's so true, I feel you. There's no perfect place. Every place has its beauty and its wonderful things, and every place has its struggles and its not so great aspects. And every person is looking for something different and will be challenged and thrive in a different place. I sympathize with so many of you who are struggling with the decision of whether to stay in Nepal or go abroad, or for those of you who have lived abroad for so long, struggling with the decision of whether to come back to Nepal or stay abroad. It's never easy and it's never a simple answer. I do love so much about living here, and this place is incredibly special. It's stunning and peaceful, and I love watching Kiran grow up in nature. And Kadak is so in his element here, tending his flowers and trees, growing our food. And while we don't have many neighbors, I do love the ones that we do have. They are kind and generous and show so much love, especially to Kiran. And honestly, these last few months here have been really wonderful, and I'm so grateful for my baby, for Kadak, and for this place. So with that, some updates of what's been going on here the last few months. As we came into spring, we've been foraging a lot for berries and kimbu. We've been harvesting the fruits. Some of our trees finally fruited, and we've been harvesting the vegetables that we've grown for ourselves. Tomatoes, cucumber, onion, sag. And also something exciting for us, we got chickens. It's been really fun to have the chickens around. They're free-range chickens here, so we let them out in the morning and they wander around everything, eating little insects. Ashok Bhai is the main caretaker of the chickens. It's also been super fun to watch Kiran interact with the chickens. He loves chasing them, he's learned how to call them, and even catch the little ones. Unfortunately, with free-range chickens, there has been a ban biralo, or a wild cat, that has taken some of the chickens, unfortunately. Now it's been so warm over the last few months. Kiran's been getting a lot of water time, playing in the water almost every day. And now that he's been walking, he's exploring everywhere. Kadak's been busy planting lots of vegetables and flowers. He's been experimenting with planting different polycultures of plants, so a mixture of ornamental and vegetables and flowers together in the same spot. And just a few days ago, Kadak, Ashok, and one of our other neighbors went back to Kathmandu to a government free plant Valfu Koruk fruiting tree sale. So they picked up a bunch of avocado trees and citrus trees that they're now planting around the land. And then over the last few months, we've had a number of friends and family visiting us. My mom came all the way back from the United States in February. My sister was here in May. Our Baini from Jumla, Binita, was here for a week with us, which was really fun and wonderful. And then we've also had some of our Kathmandu friends come and visit us as well. And then for me, it's been lots of morning runs and exploring around the area. It's such a good way to start the day, and this area is so beautiful with so many different trails and routes you can take, all very steep. And shortly after our last visit, the road was completed all the way to our house, and so we were able to drive up to our house since a few months back. Of course, now with one of the landslides on the lower road, we can now no longer drive all the way to the land, but have to use the upper road for access. Those are just some of the updates that have been happening since we last shared a video, and it's really been a wonderful last few months here. So it's really bittersweet that we're actually leaving next week. We're leaving our farm and we're leaving Nepal. I'm starting to feel pretty emotional about leaving because we're not quite sure when we're going to come back. We're heading to the US, to California, to my home to see my friends and family for a few months. And in bigger news, we want to try to grow our little family a little more. So we're going to be doing IVF again to try for our second child. And in the meantime, our amazing Bai, Ashok, will continue living here and taking care of everything for us. This farm, this valley, Nepal, this life that we've built here over the past year certainly has had its challenges, but has also been so beautiful and wonderful, and we've grown in so many ways, especially Kiran. This place means so much to us. And someone just woke up from his nap. So yeah, this is not a forever goodbye, it's just goodbye from here for a little bit, and we'll see what the future holds. So thank you and dhanyavad for watching, and until next time, Peri Batamlo! Bye bye! Bye bye!